You wake up tomorrow and the sun is still there, warm, familiar, comforting, but somewhere far beyond your sight, it's already gone. 8 minutes ago, the unimaginable happened. The sun exploded, and right now you have no idea. That's because light and heat take just over 8 minutes to reach us. In those final moments of ignorance, life on Earth continues as if nothing has changed. People sip coffee, cars rush through intersections, waves roll calmly onto distant beaches. You breathe, unaware that each second brings the last sunlight you will ever see. Then it arrives. The first sign isn't the sky going dark, it's the opposite. A burst of light so intense it drowns out the blue of the atmosphere. A blinding flash that sears the air itself. In that moment, the upper layers of our atmosphere ignite, scorched by radiation millions of times stronger than anything the sun has ever sent before. You wouldn't even have time to react. Shadows vanish, replaced by a white glare that erases detail from everything it touches. The heat follows instantly, not the warm touch you know, but a violent wave of energy, like opening an oven the size of the solar system. At first, you might think it's just a strange, powerful flare, but the air feels wrong, thicker, charged, like the atmosphere itself is holding its breath. You'd see the colors around you change as the intense radiation scatters differently through the sky. Within minutes, the invisible damage begins. The blast's high-energy particles slam into Earth's magnetic field, distorting it, weakening it. Our greatest shield against space's deadliest rays starts to fracture. Above you, where you can't see, the delicate balance that makes life possible is already collapsing. And this is only the beginning. The next phase won't just scorch the sky, it will set the world itself on fire. The flash fades, but there's no relief. Instead, the heat intensifies, relentless, overwhelming, inescapable. You can feel it in your skin before you even understand what's happening. This isn't just sunlight anymore. It's a flood of energy powerful enough to strip paint from walls, melt metal, and set forests ablaze in seconds. Across continents, wildfires ignite almost instantly. Grasslands flare like dry paper. Dense forests turn into pillars of flame stretching miles into the air. Cities are no safer. Rooftops catch, asphalt softens, glass shatters from the heat. The glow isn't just above you now, it's all around you. Then something far more terrifying begins. The oceans, which have quietly absorbed sunlight for billions of years, suddenly boil at the surface. Steam erupts in massive plumes, rising high into the atmosphere and mixing with ash from burning lands. Rain no longer falls as water. It descends as scalding droplets, blistering anything they touch. If you looked up, the once blue sky would now be a chaotic haze of orange, red, and black. Sunlight refracts through smoke and steam, turning the world into a surreal, fiery dreamscape. But this isn't a slow disaster. It's happening with impossible speed. The temperature rises faster than your body can adjust. In minutes, unprotected skin blisters, eyes burn, and breathing feels like inhaling from an open flame. And it's not just the heat. The energy from the explosion carries intense bursts of ultraviolet and X-ray radiation, penetrating deep into tissues, damaging cells beyond repair. If the flames don't reach you, the radiation will. Animals flee in every direction, birds falling mid-flight, fish rising dead to the boiling surface of the sea. It's a collapse of every ecosystem at once, happening before you can even comprehend the scale. But the destruction doesn't stop here, because what's burning now is only Earth's surface. High above, the shock wave from the sun's death is stripping away our planet's defenses, tearing apart the very atmosphere that keeps us alive. And without that shield, the next blow won't just burn, it will suffocate. The air around you feels heavier now, but it's not from smoke alone. It's because the atmosphere itself is changing. High above, the explosion's energy has smashed into Earth's protective layers, tearing through the ozone, shredding the magnetosphere, and leaving the planet exposed to the full force of space. Normally, Earth's magnetic field deflects charged particles from the sun, guiding them harmlessly toward the poles and beautiful auroras. But now that shield is fractured, the surge of radiation from the blast is flooding straight through, overwhelming every natural defense we have. The upper atmosphere begins to peel away, stripped molecule by molecule. Without that blanket of gases, ultraviolet and cosmic rays slam into the surface without mercy. They don't just burn skin, they rip apart the DNA inside every living thing. Air pressure starts to drop. At first it's subtle, you might just feel a slight tightness in your chest, but over the next few hours it becomes harder to draw a full breath. Oxygen is still here, but it's thinning, scattering into space. The balance that's kept us alive for millions of years is unraveling in less than a day. The steam and ash from the boiling oceans mix with the collapsing air, forming toxic, choking clouds. Every breath carries heat, ash, and radiation. Even deep inside buildings, the danger seeps in. The world grows eerily silent. With the atmosphere breaking down, sound doesn't travel the same way. You might shout, but your voice feels swallowed by the strange, heavy air. Above you, the sky no longer has the soft blue you've known all your life. It's darker now, thin, jagged, almost alien, because the barrier between Earth and the void is nearly gone. And when it's finally stripped away, there will be nothing left to hold life here. Next comes the force that will decide the fate of not just Earth, but the entire solar system. The destruction is no longer just an earthly disaster. It's a cosmic one. The sun's explosion has unleashed a shock wave of unimaginable power, a sphere of destruction racing outward at millions of kilometers per hour. Everything in its path will be forever changed. Closest to the blast, Mercury doesn't stand a chance. The tiny planet is vaporized instantly, its rock and metal scattered into a glowing cloud of debris. Venus follows moments later, its thick atmosphere and surface obliterated in a single, searing instant. Earth is next in the shockwave's path. What the initial flash didn't destroy, the blast wave will. Entire continents are scoured bare, mountains flattened, oceans hurled into the sky. The boiling seas evaporate completely, leaving behind barren, cracked basins where life once flourished. Beyond Earth, Mars fares no better. Its thin atmosphere is ripped away in seconds, and whatever frozen water lies hidden beneath its surface turns to vapor, lost forever. The asteroid belt is shredded apart, rocks and dust scattered in every direction, many flung toward the outer planets at deadly speeds. Jupiter and Saturn, with their immense size, absorb the brunt of the incoming debris. Moons that have orbited them for billions of years are shattered into fragments. Rings dissolve into chaos, their delicate structures erased in moments. Even at the solar system's edges, the shockwave is felt. Uranus and Neptune are battered, their atmospheres disturbed, their moons scarred. Comets in the Kuiper Belt are blasted from their icy orbits, some hurled into deep space, others sent careening inward toward what remains of the inner planets. The balance that held this system together for 4.6 billion years is gone. Gravity is still there, but it now binds a shattered collection of fragments, dust and lonely survivors drifting through a growing void. And yet, in all this violence, there's a haunting stillness waiting to settle in, a silence that will come once the shockwave passes and nothing is left to move. But for Earth, there's no waiting. The destruction is already here, and the only question left is whether anything at all, can survive what's coming next. On the surface, the answer is clear. No. Everything we've built, everything we've known, is gone. The fires have burned themselves out, the oceans have vanished, and the atmosphere has been stripped to nothing. Earth is no longer a living world. It's a scorched, airless rock drifting through space. But deep beneath the devastation, there might still be movement. Far below the seafloor, in the crushing darkness near hydrothermal vents, tiny microbes, life forms that thrive without sunlight, could hold on for a short time. Underground, deep within the crust, heat-resistant bacteria might endure in pockets where temperatures remain just below the boiling point. Yet even they face an impossible battle. Without the sun, Earth's surface temperature will plummet in weeks, turning the planet into a frozen wasteland. The oceans, already boiling from above, will solidify from below, locking whatever remains in solid ice. Radiation from the sun's death will seep everywhere, breaking apart the very molecules needed for life. Larger life, humans, animals, plants, has no chance. Without oxygen, food, or shelter from the radiation, survival would end within hours or days at most. Even deep-sea creatures, shielded from the blast itself, would perish as the oceans cool and chemistry shifts beyond what they can tolerate. In time, the fires will fade, the winds will still, and the noise of destruction will give way to silence. Earth, once bursting with forests, rivers, and the hum of life, will drift alone in the dark, its surface etched with the scars of a disaster no living thing can witness. And somewhere far from here, the light of the sun's explosion will continue its journey, passing silent worlds, brushing against distant stars, a final message from a star that once gave life, now only a memory in the cold expanse of the universe.